oxygen cylinder. I needed some thick wall pipe, and the dump site had some surplus bottles, propane bottles and oxygen bottles. So I asked the fella if he'd sell me one. So he said take what I wanted. He didn't have a care in the world about that. He just asked me not to basically bring it in for scrap money, and I told him I wouldn't do that. I told him I had a need for it, and but once I realized how thick the wall of this cylinder was, the need has ended itself because the walls are not thick enough. So here's the wall thickness of a oxygen cylinder. I kind of thought by the weight of these that they'd be a lot thicker than they actually are, and they're not actually all that thick. About roughly a 1/4 inch, I'm guessing. Let's see here. That's exactly what it is. 1/4 inch. I was hoping for 1/2 inch, or at least 7/16, but we have a 1/4 inch here thickness. So just in case somebody wanted to know how thick an oxygen cylinder wall was, well, this particular cylinder is a 1/4 inch. Now, you know, when I got this, I didn't know if there was any gases in it. I really had no idea. So I had to be extremely careful before I just decided to cut into the tank. I didn't want to harm myself. So safety was #1 priority, #1 concern. Here's the valve. And how I done it, I knew it was an oxygen bottle, so I wasn't worried about explosive gases within the tank. But I just wasn't sure, you know, how much air was in it. Oxygen itself was in there. So what I'd done is I opened the valve up. First I took the cap off, and that was a nightmare. Wow, was that a job and a half. It was on there for so long. It was so rusty that the cap was pretty much fixed almost there, and I couldn't budge it. Great big pipe wrench. You can see all these grooves in here from the pipe wrench just digging into it. That's how tight it was. But I finally got it free. And then my next step was to open the valve up to see if there was any pressure inside the tank. And there turned out to be, nope, there wasn't any. So I didn't trust that. So what I did is I took an air compressor once the valve was open to see if I could push air inside it. And if I could push air inside it, well, then I knew the valve was okay. And it would be empty when the valve said it was empty. So once I opened the valve back out and drained what I put in there, it was empty. That was it. So I was safe to proceed ahead, and I removed the valve just to give myself double checking security before I decided to cut into it, just in case the valve was for some reason, you know, tricking me or something. But it didn't. Turned out all okay. I mean, with the air pressure that I put into the tank, I figured the valve couldn't be tricking me, but just for a double security check, just in case, I did just that. And I removed the valve, and then once I removed the valve, well, then I begun to cut away. So, there's the wall thickness of an oxygen tank, in case anybody wants to know and they don't know. Here it is. Thank you for watching, fellas. Subscribe if you would.